Here we are looking at a map of the Middle Kingdom. We talk about China today, but the traditional name for China was the Middle Kingdom, the place at the center of it all. It's a statement of great pride, a statement of pride in the accomplishments and the power and the influence of this culture in regions beyond its boundaries. It also fits with the geographic position of China. So we have Korea, its peninsula just to the east. China will have a major influence on Korea, as well as Japan, even farther east. And then to the west, the Silk Road, taking China's products and influence out to Persia, Central Asia, to Europe, to India. We often say in history that geography is destiny, right? Geography is a major determinative force that shapes cultural development. So in terms of China's geography, right, you have a very large land mass. It is slightly larger than the continental US. Today, it's the home to about 1/5 of the human family. Rivers have been incredibly important to its development. The earliest agricultural societies that we will be studying in this module sprang up from major rivers, alongside major rivers, the Yellow River, the Yangtze River, which has fertile plains. The Yellow River has created disastrous floods. So these rivers are both a blessing and a curse. So China also has this incredibly long coastline with harbors that have been nurturers of a vast maritime trade network and important cities. It has a vast boundary along the northwest where China has been vulnerable at important moments in its history to invasions from Mongolia and elsewhere. And then, of course, its famous Silk Road, the Silk Road that has connected it west, is an important part of its position at the center of it all as the Middle Kingdom. Those who do not forget the past are masters of the future. Notice that this comes from the lips of China's first great historian, a professional viewer of the past, you could say, or commemorator, rememberer of the past, in around 100 BCE. This is remarkably early for a culture to take history that seriously. Only the ancient Egyptians were earlier. And one of the hallmarks of Chinese culture is its attention to the past. A deep desire to remember, to pay respects to ancestors, to keep the past alive in the present. So, in Chinese art, we will see a tremendous longevity of ancient traditions, even as those traditions change and become something very modern. And I'm showing you that with this set of 3 comparisons, all samples of China's great ceramic tradition, a tradition that begins 5000 BCE, actually even earlier, around 7000 BCE in the Neolithic period. So Neolithic, when people had moved from hunter-gatherer lifestyle to settled agriculture lifestyle, living in towns and villages. And under those conditions, they perfected ceramic techniques. This bowl was not actually made with a potter's wheel, yet it is very technically sophisticated. It's an amazingly perfect circle. It has intricate paintings arranged in a very elegant composition. And over thousands of years, here circa 1435, we see China's painted pottery tradition growing ever more technically refined and exquisite, and we see specialty traditions such as the famous Ming Dynasty porcelains, a kind of ceramic that is a statement of imperial beauty and will be coveted around the world. This is the reason why people in the West refer to their good dishes as their china, because it came from China, where they made the best ceramics. So then we have Ai Weiwei, an artist of the 20th and 21st 21st century. He's also working with ceramics here. In this installation, he has made for the Tate Museum London 1 million hand-painted porcelain sunflower seeds. What is this all about? He is responding to the 20th century as the age of mass politics. In particular, he's looking back to Mao Zedong's mass political plan known as the Great Leap Forward, which was not a leap forward. It actually was a disastrous attempt to exert communist control over agricultural production, and it resulted in the most horrific famine in human history. Between 1960 and 1962, approximately 30 million people died. Those starving people tried to survive on sunflower seeds. So here in Ai Weiwei's hands, literally in his hands in this photograph, China's glorious ceramic tradition becomes an indictment of totalitarianism. He critiques the past horrors of Maoism by evoking the long history of ceramics in China, going back to the imperial system that predated the Communist Revolution, going way back to the earliest origins of Chinese culture. So he is a master of critique. As an artist of the 20th and 21st century, he very much sees himself as opening our eyes to the things that we often don't want to notice. And he knows very well that ceramics have been a way to connect the past, the present, and the future in China. And Ai Weiwei knows very well that one of the most famous ceramic artworks in China is this 9-dragon screen at the front of the Imperial Palace, the Forbidden City in Beijing. And the dragon, the repeated dragons, is the symbol of the emperor, but also a symbol of longevity, because this twisting animated dragon expresses power made through the ability to transform and adapt. The dragon can move up out of the sea to the earth and the sky, and then come back down to earth into the deep waters in a cycle of renewal. So there's a way of experiencing the past, the present, and the future as cycles of renewal. The power of the dragon in rising and falling. And we can take that right down to earth by noting that the language itself has such tremendous longevity. It is the oldest language still in use, 3,000 plus years, and it is still evolving.